Let's have a nice cup of TRE in the afternoon with Hannah Murray.
Joining us on the line now is Welsh singer-songwriter, actress and TV presenter Charlotte Church to talk about her stunning retreat in Wales called The Dreaming. Recently named Wales Spa of the Year, The Dreaming is nestled in the spectacular surroundings of the Elan Valley in the heart of Wales. Welcome to the show, Charlotte.
Thank you so much for having me on. Lovely to speak with you.
Oh, it's great to have you with us. And, I can totally understand why it's called The Dreaming. It looks absolutely glorious. How did you come across this place?
Well, I was on the lookout for basically a parcel of land to invest my money in, really, because rather than sort of investing in things that weren't really aligning with my ethics, then I just wanted to invest in the land. So that was sort of my primary driver at the beginning. And then I found this place, and it's Laura Ashley's old family home.
Oh, wow.
And it used to be a Cistercian, it used to be a Cistercian monastery back in the 15th century. So the house has got a lot of history. It's curtained by two waterfalls, the Nant Gorwen and the Nant Caethon. And I mean, it's so glorious. Like, it's so magical. It feels like you're in a different realm.
Yeah. I've been looking at the photos and the videos. It looks really, really beautiful. So when did you kind of get into spirituality and well-being and things like that? Because you're obviously really passionate and knowledgeable about it.
Oh, thank you. I think I always have been since I was a little one, really. You know, when I was younger, I used to sing a lot of sacred music and in different traditions, and I think that I was always like just very motivated towards I suppose maybe healing. Not quite, it wasn't quite so much healing, but towards soothing, let's say, somewhat. And you know, a lot of my music and what I was trying to do with my music was sort of about soothing people. And so I think that as soon as I found that land, or that land found me, maybe is more accurate, then I have just been on this amazing path of really like trying to bring together different disciplines of, you know, scientific inquiry and the science of creativity and the science of awe and happiness and what gets in people's way of like authentic expression, and, you know, what are the main factors of what's going wrong in society? Like, why are people feeling such anxiety? Why are people feeling so disconnected from themselves, from each other, from nature? And so at The Dreaming, our three pillars are sound therapy in all of its forms, nature connection, and ceremony.
Oh, wonderful. I've been looking through all the different things that you do there. There's a couple of things I wanted to ask you about. Dream work, that sounds really interesting. I know all about breath work, but what's dream work?
Well, dream work is a growing movement where people are starting to, I think dreams have always been like so mysterious to us. Even, you know, when you look at Carl Jung had a lot to say about dreams. And I think that it's just such, you know, it's such an endlessly interesting and actually quite revealing way to do the inquiry, I suppose. We're all at a different stage of a journey into self-inquiry and understanding of ourselves and understanding our role in the world and understanding what we want from this life. And I think that dream work is a really interesting delve into the subconscious. And, you know, there's so many ways in which dream work is done throughout indigenous cultures all over the world. So it's a really fascinating area, not just fascinating from like a neuroscientific point of view, but also more on that soul search and soul seek. It's a fascinating realm.
Yeah, it sounds it. And what about nighttime forest bathing? That sounds lovely. Or is it freezing?
Well, I think that, you know, part of what I've been wanting to do, part of what we do at The Dreaming is that we are connecting people back with a sense of wonder and awe and like play. And I think a lot of the time we are sort of dissuaded from going outside in the dark and the cold, but actually it's a really magical time to be outside. Whether it's that you are sort of moon gazing or stargazing, or whether that you are sat quietly in the forest feeling the wildlife come to life around you. And then sometimes we do chanting in the forest at nighttime as well, which again is a really beautiful practice, and things feel different in the night. So it just brings a whole other area of nature connection, which most people don't really do anymore, because it's sort of like, oh, I don't know, maybe it's a bit dangerous or won't be able to see. So obviously we make it very safe for people to be outside, and when we get settled, then we sort of switch all of the lights off and then engage in whatever practice that we're doing, whether it's forest bathing or whether it's chanting, all sorts of things. But really the goal is to deeply connect people to that sense of like magic and play and awe.
Yeah. And I know you've had some incredible feedback from people who have come on various retreats there, some people calling it life-changing.
Yes. I mean, it's been an absolute honour and a privilege to be a part of it all, and also to sort of start my journey as a facilitator. It's one thing being a performer, but it's quite another thing facilitating people through, sometimes quite emotional or opening experiences. The way in which people are responding, like, is weirdly exactly how I imagined, exactly how I envisioned it. I could see it in my mind's eye so clearly from the start of the project, because we had a 2-year massive renovation of the house before we opened as The Dreaming. And I could just see it all so clearly in my mind, how it would make people feel. It's the first time in my life where that's ever happened. That it's been so clear. And then it's exactly as I thought. So yeah, it's a really beautiful thing to watch people. And we have all sorts of people, some people who are going through grief in their life, some people who have sort of lost purpose and meaning, some people who are looking to rest because actually they find it really difficult to switch off. And we have all sorts of different pairings come as well. Couples come, solo travelers, friend groups, mothers and daughters. I mean, like, all sorts of different people come and break bread round the table. Because that was another one of my driving wants really with this, is that I feel that society is so stratified, and how are we going to do this bigger work of healing and figuring stuff out in terms of the polycrisis that we've got going on Earth right now, when everybody's so separate. And so it's got a really beautiful community vibe, and people make friends for life when they go there as well. Like, without fail, every single group that's been there has set up a WhatsApp group, and lots of them have become very dear friends who have then come back together, which is really lovely.
Well, it makes such a difference, doesn't it, being around like-minded people, and that can be, to do with any subject, whether it's a sport that you're interested in or music, but particularly I think with well-being and people that are looking to better themselves. If you're around people that are on the same kind of journey, even if they're in a different place in that journey, it makes a world of difference, I think.
Absolutely. But also I see real difference. People are coming from all sorts of different lives and lifestyles at different ages. And I think that there isn't much integration. And actually, when we've got a group there of maybe 12 or 15 people, because people aren't that exposed to, and we're in an age of polarity right now, and an age where there is a lot of division, and it's quite another wonderful thing to watch happen, where people who are quite different are really, because you're in this like space of vulnerability and rest and openness, then the conversations that are had around the table, right, whilst we're all sort of eating together and feasting, and it's the sort of thing that I think that really does go some way to more unification, more connection, more understanding. And it's, as I say, it's just it's completely joyful as a facilitator to watch this sort of magic unfurl, when it seems, a lot of the time when we're on social media, we have this, that sense of division and that sense of separation and of violence is so strong. But then actually when you get people in a room together, who might be from different walks of life, who might have differing opinions, then there's common ground, there's always common ground.
Yeah. One of the retreats you do, I just wanted to ask you briefly about, was the Song of the Soul retreat, because I know that was inspired by your own journey with voice and sound. It's not about singing for entertainment's sake. It's, got a spiritual side for it. Can you just explain that?
Oh, absolutely. So, yeah, Song of the Soul is my signature retreat at the Dreaming that I do with my she's my best friend and my wonderful colleague, Deborah, and my husband as well. And it's a real journey into releasing the voice. And that can mean many different things. Releasing the voice in terms of singing and using your voice more confidently, but also what do you want to say in the world? Your voice is your main tool of manifesting the reality that you want. All of the manifesting stuff from the mind is wonderful, and people have been doing it for a long time, but to be able to say how you want things, or how you want things to change in your relationships, in your job, in your dreams, is such an important thing. And so many people are blocked, so many people feel so restricted. People feel like they aren't imaginative, or like they aren't creative. And singing is a birthright. Everywhere in First Nations peoples across the world, a huge part of their culture is singing. And we've lost that in the West. And I think that part of it is when music became, started to go into the courts in Europe, and, classical music and the theory of music, and having to be a really skilled musician and having to read music. Music in a way became intellectualized. But actually, I think personally, my personal belief is that it is one of our most prominent tools for healing. And healing as a collective, healing as individuals, whether it's about, omming and chanting, and science is just starting to catch up just with the power of using your own voice to heal your body, mind and spirit. So there's amazing scientific evidence now that's coming out about how sound and being able to create sound in your own body, by doing very simple things. It's not really advanced skilled jazz improvisational singing. That we do bits of that actually.
Brilliant.
In Song of the Soul. But yeah, there's a lot of scientific evidence coming out now about the power of sound, and the power of sound in the role of healing the human spirit, really, and condition.
Yeah. And does your kind of life in the public eye, and your all the amazing albums that you've done, both classical and pop, does it seem like a different lifetime? Does it seem like a world away, or are you still interested in that life and doing more of that in the future, do you think?
Yeah, I'm a singer in my bones. That is the absolute core of who I am. And so actually this work really feels very it's threaded through everything. It makes total sense to me. It might not make very much sense from the outside. But, I've had a very varied career. I've also set up a free to attend democratic school in the forest in South Wales called the Awen Project. I have been more and more sort of working from an activist point of view about protecting the earth, and trying as much as possible to help Do you know what I mean? Help. As I say, there's a polycrisis of all sorts of things to be looking at, whether it's, homelessness that you want to try and help, whether it's that you want to save the rivers and have the conditions of the rivers be better, whether it's animal rights. There's all sorts of ways in which to get involved and be an advocate for life is essentially how I see it. So for me, this feels like a very natural next step.
Yeah.
And also, I will always keep making albums and keep making music. But now, for me, it's in a slightly different context, because now I truly understand the power of it and the sacredness, if that doesn't feel sort of too far out for people, but the sacredness of music making.
Yeah.
And so, it all feels one in the same to me.
Yeah, I get that. And looking back on your career thus far, we'll say, because there's obviously more to come, which is great. Do you have any particular highlights? Because as you say, you've done so much, not just in music, but TV presenting, acting. Have you got any kind of standout moments that you look back on and go, wow, I'm really proud of that?
I think that I'm really proud of my advocacy for, different groups. I'm really proud that I broke from the mainstream in terms of my music. Because I basically made a series of EPs. I mean, this was a long time ago. This is like 10 years ago, but they were way more experimental. They're like, mad, avant-garde, R&B, prog, classical, total mashup of so many different styles. But that's just like, that's part of where I was at the time. And it was really experimental and exciting. And so I'm really proud of that, because it was a big risk. And it took some courage to be able to sort of break from the music industry and the sort of systems. But those systems are exploitative, and those systems aren't sustainable, and they don't really allow for full creative expression. And so, I suppose that's what I'm most proud of. I'm proud that I had the courage to try and be as authentic as I could.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great that you've tried so many different things, though, and worked out what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy, what you feel works, what you feel didn't work. I mean, I'll be honest, I really enjoyed your album Tissues and Issues. I love Crazy Chick and Call My Name. I thought they were brilliant.
Oh, thanks, love.
Absolutely. So I hope you don't look back and think, oh, God, that wasn't me.
On the path. Sorry, say that again?
No, I hope you don't look back on that time and think, oh, God, that wasn't me. What was I doing? Because I think, as I say, I think it's great.
Not at all. I mean, it's all part of the bigger weave, isn't it? Of I don't really regret anything, but I am. It was definitely a stepping stone on the path.
Yeah.
But no regrets.
Well, if people want to find out more about this retreat and have a look at the beautiful photography and be inspired by the Welsh countryside, then they should go to the website, shouldn't they?
Yes, absolutely. Our website is thedreaming.co.uk, and we've got so many different retreats. We've got obviously Song of the Soul. We've got our Dreaming retreats, which are happening year round. We've got Celtic retreats. We've got a queer retreat. We've got a melanated women of African and Caribbean descent retreat. We've got lots for all sorts of different people who need to do all sorts of different types of healing.
Fantastic. Well, it's been lovely to chat with you, Charlotte Church. Thank you so much for joining us on Talk Radio Europe.
Thank you so much for your time. Much love.